Hello, and welcome to the fourth and final section of deploying web applications with Webpack. In the previous section, in section 3, we have looked at how to handle assets inside your project. First of all, we have looked at how to handle style sheets with Webpack. We have included style sheets using our style and CSS loaders. We have also looked at how to convert your SCSS style sheet files into CSS folders and adding them to the bundle. Then we have also looked at how to handle image imports and image compression. And then lastly, we have looked at how to configure public paths in case your project is designed to use files that are located in your project's directory. So for example, if you're using a CDN or anything like that. In this section, we are going to have a quick look at some of the most important performance improvements you can obtain by using Webpack 2. So in order to do that, we will look at code splitting, which is one of the most compelling features of Webpack. This feature allows you to split your code into various bundles that can be loaded either all at once or on demand. So this will basically help you reduce the overall size of your application. And then after that, we will look at lazy, or also known as on-demand loading, which is a great way to optimize your site or application. In the first video, we'll have a look at code splitting, what code splitting means in Webpack. First of all, we will have a look at what code splitting is and why it is such an important feature of Webpack. Then we will look at the entry points, which is the simplest way and the easiest and most intuitive way to split code. And then we will look at some of the advantages and disadvantages of this method. And then we will also have a look at the other options available in Webpack. First of all, being the prevent applications code splitting, in which we can use a Webpack plugin that allows us to extract common dependencies into an existing chunk of JavaScript. And we'll also look at dynamic imports, which have two similar techniques that are supported by Webpack, but when it comes to dynamic code splitting, we will see which one is best. So in order to get through the code splitting part of this title, we will be creating a new Webpack project. So we will not be using our previous Webpack project, simply because the previous Webpack project has a lot of configuration that will just stay in the way. So let's go to our editor and create a new project, and let's work with that one. So I'll quickly go off camera and create a new project, a new structure for our project, and then we'll quickly go over the Webpack configuration required for that project and then start working on code splitting. So see you in a little bit. So I have created a new folder for our project. In here, we will go into our terminal and navigate to it. So as you can see, I've called this code 1. And we will do the whole initialization of the project again. And we'll just press enter for everything that's in here. Now the project has been created. If we look in our editor, we will be able to see our package.json file. Now let us install Webpack in this project. So again, we will be installing Webpack 2.6.1 and install it as a development dependency. And then we will also install the HTML Webpack plugin. Again, we will be installing this as a dependency for our project, as a dev dependency. And let's go back into our editor and create a bit of a folder structure for our project. So we have our package.json, we have our node modules. Let's create a new folder in here called source, src. And in our source directory, we will create a new JavaScript file. This one will be called index.js. And we will also create a new file, a new JavaScript file, which will be called module.js. We will be using those files in order to write our application and explain code splitting on this. Let us also create our Webpack config.js file in the root directory. So we'll create a new file, webpack config.js, and let's quickly put in a simple application, a basic config. So just copy this in. So first of all, we will require the path, Then we will also require the HTML Webpack plugin to generate a template. Then we will export two files. So we'll have two entry files, one of them being our index.js and the other one being our module.js. We'll be using the HTML Webpack plugin, having the title code splitting for this particular application, and our outputs will be based on the entry. So we will be using the name of the file, the bundle.js, and those files will be sent to the dist directory, which we will create now as well. So we'll create our folder, call this dist. Now, for the purpose of this demonstration, we will also be installing the Lodash library. If you've been around for a while, you might be familiar with the Lodash library. So we will add the Lodash library. So Lodash has been added. So if we look into our package.json, Lodash has been added as a dependency to our project. And then let's populate our JavaScript files with some code. Now in our index file, we'll just add some quick JavaScript code. So we will import Lodash. And in our module.js, we will just add a default function. So that will just something called into the console. So this will be module.js. We'll save this. Into our index.js, we will go in here. We will also import printme. So the function we're exporting from module.js. So we will import printme from, and we need to specify the path for it, which is module.js. And now we will write a quick function that gets called when this is loaded. So we'll just create a function called component, and this function will create an element inside our div and then add a button to our div. So let's do that. And then we will be adding a button to our div. And then we will be using a function from Lodash called join in order to add something into our element. So this should be var, not var. So element inner HTML will be equal with lodash.join, and then we will be adding an array of elements. So let's do hello, and then Webpack is here, from Webpack, then empty string. After that, let's do a function for the button. So we'll set the button's text, which in this case will be click and check console. And we will also trigger the printme function on the onClick on the button. So button.onClick will be equal to printme. Now let's add the element to the DOM and return everything. So append child and then button. So this way we're adding the button into our div, and we will be returning our element in here. So we've created our main function, and then at the bottom we will append this whole component to our HTML document. So we'll go document.body.appendChild, and then in here we will run our component and save everything. A quick correction, make sure you write body with one B, not a double B, and save your files.